y'all. You know what's up. You already know what Thursday nights at 8 o'clock are for. Thank you for either tuning in again or welcome to my first time viewers right here on the Beat Mix on BeExposedRadio.com. Thursdays at 8, they're great. Okay, I'm joking. I'm not gonna start off with the corny jokes. I'm not gonna do that today. Y'all gonna have to forgive me as usual. But I don't even know why I asked for forgiveness. I just like to put it all out on the open, in the open, because I'm always. It seems like every week I'm dealing with something, like y'all. It's just what's going on. But y'all didn't want me to have the show and be airing my stuff out way back in the day when I really was dealing with heavy stuff like every day, every week. So don't worry about it. It's just small things, that's going on. But they're still happening. So here's the thing. Since the B Mix is for the unseen, the unheard, the forgotten, whether it be the forgotten part of you, or just for the person that does not belong anywhere, the me. Again, welcome and come on in, because if you fall under any of those categories, you're welcome here. Okay, I promise you. And if you don't, you're also welcome here. We just welcome everybody. Okay, that's just what we're supposed to do. Before I get into my stuff, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the fact that I am so excited. I don't know if y'all can tell, but I'm so excited to have literally one of my closest cousins right here with me tonight. And listen, she already setting the scene, okay? She already let y'all know. Finna be trying on this evening, okay? So do not try her, okay? Because that also is a cousin I will call if y'all get on my nerves. So I'm not saying nothing, but I'm letting y'all know. That's all I'm say about that. Anywho, we're gonna go with Jazzy tonight. You want them to call you Jasmine because it's sexy. Which one? How you feeling?
Jazzy is fine.
Okay. So welcome my cousin Jazzy, y'all. That's my baby.
Cigarette out.
Hey Jazzy. All right, I ain't gonna get the breakdown tonight and getting one of them pop lockings and pop. All right, whatever. The reason why I really couldn't do that, I'm gonna tell you about my stuff real quick. Again, I know I'm always dealing with stuff, but it's because I know I said this before, but I was really about to give y'all a loose tip tonight. Okay, I was not about to come down here and sit in this chair with no bro. It's been that type of day. Today was a long week here. Today was a long week. Okay, so y'all gonna have to bear with me this evening while I press on through. As you're bearing with me, I need two things. I need y'all to do two things for me. Keep this in mind. One, if you happen to see my underwire come from out my bra, mind your business, okay? My business, you don't know what I'm going through, okay? All I'm saying, if you see it poking, just hit me with one of these, like do a little chest motion or something, and I'm gonna know what's up. Also, if you see a little bit of my snow that's coming on, okay, in my scalp, mind your business. I'm gonna do one of those, and I'm gonna keep on pushing, okay? So, because I think it's a few specks on my glasses, but I don't want to take them off because I put shea butter up on my hands that's still kind of dry. I don't know if you can hear that. Because my face, y'all, literally right before I started the show, my face showed me that, it's that time of the year, the switching of the seasons or something, and my skin peeling. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going through a lot right now. So y'all mind your business on how I look because it's rough. It's definitely rough. I look like what I'm going through today, but we're not going to worry about that. So, hey, Jazzy.
Hey.
What's up? What's that? Well, you want to share with the people what we come across the other day when we were talking? What we say? Royalty running my blood, but so does mental health.
Yeah, but mental health be running our family, but I think mine was induced.
Okay. So that is funny. It's not funny, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at her mental illness because we all have it. Okay, so I don't want nobody getting all sensitive talking about trying to report this show and this particular episode to nobody. I'm just saying that the way she said it was funny. I want to make that very clear because I know we all try to be sensitive about something that you don't even know my stuff. You don't even know that I relate to it too. But go ahead. So how you feel like it was induced?
It was like. So I was taking a medication that created psychosis, but the psychosis wasn't necessarily a psychosis. So when you have people in your family with mental health issues and you try to explain to them that somebody is trying to ruin your life, then and they don't understand it, and they looking at you like, girl, you crazy. Oh my God, something wrong with you. You're going to say, okay. At that point, you say, okay, I'll cop out to the mental health.
Got you. Ooh, okay. Cop out to the mental. That's powerful. Because sometimes that's what makes it easier to do, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't relate to, or that you're not experiencing, some mental health issue. But sometimes it's easier just like, okay, that must be it, because it's in my family. So that's it. That's what.
I think I know my mother got mental health issues. Now that I ain't going.
Okay.
Okay.
It's the same, actually. So if y'all don't know, I'm sorry. So this is my cousin on my mother's side. So my maternal cousin, the first cousin. So our mothers are sisters. Who child? Y'all don't even know. Like, I really wish y'all knew what I was saying while I'm saying it. And her mother, my favorite aunt, by the way, favorite aunt. Shout out to all my aunts, but that's my favorite aunt. And so we are it's like in our family, and I think some other families are like this too, but our family, we spit out like cousin clusters, like in clusters. So she's part of my cousin cluster. Okay. So that's why I really emphasizing like one of my closest cousins, because we come out in clusters. Like, for example, she has her oldest sister. She came out during my older brothers, between the two of them, like their cousin cluster. So we just be trying. Okay, we just be trying to. So y'all falling apart today. I am barely pressing through today, y'all. So please, I ain't asking for forgiveness, but y'all just gonna know that I'm going through stuff. But yes, okay. So that's how she is my cousin. I don't want y'all trying to guess. Now, don't get me wrong. My father's side is equally crazy as well. They just have to be, because my father's also crazy. It ain't no questioning. Ain't no judging that. It just is. I'm learning it every day, baby. Moving on. So how do you know? How do you speculate that you said your mother's crazy? How you speculate that?
Anybody that can scream all day at the top of their lungs is crazy. I love her to death, but my mother's good-hearted, and she got a real loving heart. She a sweetheart, but she got some issues. And the mere fact that you would not believe your own child when your child trying to tell you something, that's I don't know what that fall under, what category that fall under. That gotta be a mental health issue.
Okay, so that's two powerful things too that you said. So one is that you made the statement that, she has a good heart and is very kind-hearted, right? So it doesn't mean that somebody can be dismissed to be like, oh no, there's no way they have mental health issues because they're so sweet. That doesn't, like, I think that a lot of people have that mindset of like, there's no. Like, I don't know what people think that mental illness is or should be or can be, but I definitely heard of like, no, she's too sweet. Ain't no way she got, such and such, or is such and such, or this or that, or dealing with these issues. And then you said that, anytime that anyone that would not believe their child, and even if it's not necessarily like believing, like, off the bat, right? For whatever reason, obviously we know for their own reasons, but if it's the matter of at least like as my mother, like investigate, like, or look into it, but don't just easily dismiss it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So that to me, that tells me like, well, clearly by you knowing and by you able to, you being able to acknowledge or recognize her issues, that clearly they must be unaddressed, because that's what I think. I think like if you can easily dismiss my issues and whatever I might be dealing with, then that's because that's what you do. You suppress your stuff and you like, oh, girl. Like, goes across the board. There are people out here who, prime example, there are like rape victims, right? And so if you think of if it's a female, and so she tries to share it with her mother, and come to find out that either they find out later down the road, or in that time that she's sharing her experience, her unfortunate experience, that she found out that her mother is also, a victim as well. So because the mother did not address, her experience, her unfortunate experience, and abuse, then she dismissed her own child, right? I'm not saying that's the scenario, but that's something that I think of, and how to help put it into perspective of how if it goes unaddressed, then it's so many other issues that come along with that, including being able to dismiss somebody else's stuff. And I think that's the society. If we think about it bigger, the society that we live in.
If I went to my mother and I said something about rape, I'm sure she would believe that.
Well, right. See, that's what I'm saying. I didn't mean her specifically. I meant like comparing that. So the fact that she dismissed, what you were experiencing, like your mental health illness, right? Or your experience, right, of what was going on. I mean, as far as for somebody else, somewhere else, not her, but I mean that it's the same thing as far as if it's unaddressed. So if I went through something and I never addressed it, never, sought counseling or just never tried to just heal, right? Whatever the healing process could look like, then it makes it easier for me to dismiss when it doesn't even mean a child, but somebody else comes to me that has dealt with that or is dealing with the same thing that I dealt with, but didn't address. It makes it easier for me to dismiss it because it's like, I ain't even deal with it. That's what I mean. I ain't saying, because first of all, that wouldn't be, even if there was, which I don't believe it is.
I would have cussed her ass out.
Yeah, okay.
Girl, if I came to her and said something like that, she dissed me, I would have cussed her ass out. She would have really put me in a psych ward then.
Listen, oh, you said my mother. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Because, mine did. But, we just dealing with crazy. That's all. That's it. Just unaddressed, unadulterated crazy. Like,
yeah.
So I might be looking like what I'm going through today, but I definitely don't look like what I've been through in life. But, that's another story for another day.
It's all how you come out of it, though. It's all how you come out of it. As long as you come out of it on time, then that's all that means.
Solid, man. The thing is, the beauty of it, by you saying just that, you hear somebody making a statement and you finish it in your head. Girl, you was like, I know you was about to say as long as you come out on time. And I was like, the thing is, I came out of it on the bottom, but I came out of my situation on the I did, but
I'm glad you can joke. I'm glad
right. I had to, but I had to. The beauty, I guess, about my story is that I came out of it on the bottom, child. I can't take that away from me. But I was able to climb back up. You know what I mean? To stand up. Like that was the point that I was trying to get at. I ain't come up on top, baby. I ain't about to tell the people like, oh man, I'm mad. No, baby, I came out dirty. I was filthy. Yep, just at the bottom, but that's neither here nor there. So like, okay. So when do you feel like you got an inkling, at least, like, there gotta be something wrong with my mama? Like, no.
Girl, I think it was when I was about 2. I think it was the first bitch I was called.
Okay. Oh God, help me. Okay.
We didn't have Google back then. I couldn't look it up and say, what is a bitch? I'm like, well, that must be a name.
Right, but I think this is something I'm not supposed to be called. Like, I don't think this, you're not supposed to call me this. You my mama. Right.
Yeah, I thought my name was Jasmine. Jasmine bitch Fletcher. I mean, okay. So.
Oh, God. Not Jasmine. Not middle names. Okay, so that means, so then that's another point that you make, right? Because let me open my chat. I'm gonna get in trouble. But the fact that you said, like, like you said, we didn't have Google back then, so it's not like even if we had like access to it, because what was that? When we were 2, was that even? Oh Lord, I'm messing up. I don't know when we really got.
You had to go get an encyclopedia.
Say it's not like I wasn't trying to dial up to get on that AOL when
you see the bitch in the book and you like, but I only got 2 legs. Like, what's going on?
I ain't no dog. That ain't damn puppy, right?
You start seeing hair grow on your arms, like, oh shit, it's true.
Like, so that's the thing though. Like, so we were we were experiencing it even at a young age, right? And unaware of the fact that we were experiencing it. So that's why I always pose the question of like, I believe that everybody is in ministry in some way, shape, or form. I believe that's a part of like our divine purpose, right? And so like, even if not even just a water it down, but I know when some people think of ministry, they think of, titles and you got to wear certain things and this and that, like people, the big heavies in the church. No. I like to be the boots on the ground, the regular old average Joe person. And there's still ministry with me, right? That's the way I feel. And so I feel like from that, you have to, one, be able to speak from experience. So, like it has to be like a sorry y'all, I'm still going through things. Okay, there we go. Whew, y'all. I told you I'm just struggling. So you have to, understand that a lot of people are experiencing things, are even acting in or operating in a certain way. And fully unaware of it. So like when you are ministering to somebody, because like I said, I believe everybody has within them, how do you minister to that person that, I don't know, to the narcissistic person, the person you might have dated that's like,
girl, you just close that book and walk away.
You said what?
You just close that book and walk away. Like,
okay.
Some people, you give them a hug, you try to give them as much love as possible, you just walk away because mental health is real. And
mental
even
health.
in your own, you can recognize other people's mental health issues. And girl. So I'm the queen of dating people with mental health issues.
Okay. We're going to get into that. So we're going to definitely get into that. Don't think we're going to leave without touching on that. Cindy just came down here with no pants on. Cindy, you have to give me a second. I'm doing my show. I'm telling y'all, today is unraveling for me. I don't know about this amount of thread, y'all. This. Okay, I'll fix it.
They know.
I think this is the point of me not like. I think this is the point of like trying to get better at like not manifesting like, oh, I've had a crazy day and that it keeps going on. Like I can't even do that because it'll keep on going on.
Girl, my friend just tried to call me. I told her I was doing a show at 8. I don't mental health,
Girl, so okay, but what we were talking about, I'm sorry, before I had to announce that Cindy just came downstairs, that she's about to go back upstairs and play because mommy needs her time. That's what she's about to do. Thank you. She's giving me faces. She didn't care. But I was about to share this comment from Jacinda, and she says some people, even though they went through something, really don't have the empathy to relate or address it. That is so. I know I keep using the word powerful, but it really is. When we had an issue earlier, that was what I mean.
Quiet time, Sydney. We love you.
You see JC? Hi, JC. Okay, there we go.
Hey, baby.
So she just felt your presence. Now she's going upstairs now. Yep. So, this is a rough one. You would have thought this was like my test show, Jesus. Okay. But I keep using the word powerful, but that statement to me is so powerful because we want to believe that if we know, first of all, I pride myself on feeling like I don't need to know somebody's stuff in order to, like feel for them, pray for them, or, just send good vibes and good wishes their way, right? But then even once you find out that, somebody shares something, then yes, go ahead. Thank you. Whew. But when we oh look, that's your Aunt Avy. Hi, mommy.
Hey, y'all, Avy.
Side note, I really better tell you, ironically, when I posted something about the show, why my mother was the first one to like it. I was like, oh. Oh. But back to my point, y'all, that I was saying that on top of me really believing that and hoping that one day we get to the place of not feeling like we need to know somebody's stuff in order to, you know, cover them, feel for them, like I said, send good vibes their way, and pray for them. That on top of that, once somebody opens up and is vulnerable, because this is what I keep talking about, the fact that we have to create this space for us as a people to feel like we can be vulnerable, we can be open, we can be our authentic selves, because, you know, definitely here on the B-Mix, that's always what I talk about, that it's all authentic and raw material, right? That once somebody opens up about their stuff, there's still a responsibility on the listeners, on the people in the circle, or in that same room that hear that. So virtually, if we're doing all this virtually, and if you are viewing us, you know, on social media or just in different areas, through different viewing sources, that the space in which you're in and hearing somebody, if they open up, that's that space. You still have a responsibility not to feel like you tapping your coworker, be like, girl, like if it's a good show, sure, right? But if somebody's on here really pouring themselves out and explaining some different experiences that they've had, it's on us to, you know, to respect that, right? So we know we've all been in like school, a classroom setting or something, and where the teacher attempts to be a good facilitator, but you know, it depends on the, you know, your classmates and all. But
I was the interrupter.
I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. Like I'm not judging, but I'm sure of it. But that's what I mean, though, right? And so it's the same way of once somebody opens up and pours themselves out, that we then, on top of, you know, respecting the fact that they've opened up, it's not, our responsibility is not to expect something from them beside all that they've done. So anytime y'all hear me, I've always said, like, I acknowledge your presence, you know, I thank you. And I mean that wholeheartedly, because that's the way we have to operate, versus me feeling like, oh, well, you went through this and now it's like, you know, I'm expecting this and expecting that, because of what Jacinda said, which is some people, even though they've experienced it for themselves, for whatever reason, do not have the empathy to relate to it, or even to address it. It could be one or the other, or neither at all, right? And so, okay, because I'll give Sydney a hug later, bro. Thank you. Well, and Jazzy, Jacinda, who is Lucy, says hi, Sydney.
No. Hey, Lucy, girl, how you feeling?
Thank you. Oh, child, this is a working mama episode right here, y'all. I don't know, we might switch up about parenting, because okay. So so you said that you knew at an early age, and we were talking about the fact that, so in your experience, and I promise I'm not going to be like the therapist, like, how did that make you feel? But, you know, like, it is a silent question to be asked, like looking back now. So at your age and able to look back at, you said, like the 2-year-old Jazzy, like, what do you see in that picture that comes to mind is when you were 2 years old, and that first beat that you was, you know, called, right? And that you had no idea of it, but you knew just someone, right? Like, what else do you see?
I mean, not necessarily. Like, I didn't really feel a way about it until I actually knew what it was.
Okay.
So that's when I started to feel some type of way about it. And even though I give it to her, she working on it now. It took a long time. But, you know, like, I didn't feel a way about it.
Okay.
And then, you know, when you hear another parent say something to your parent about it, you know, my father would say, like, no, don't do that. And she was call his ass one. So, you know, to me, it was what it was. And then that's when the guilt and, you know, the oppressed feeling comes in, and you're like, okay. And then, you know, I like my daddy more. So if daddy had a problem with it, I had a problem with it.
Got it.
So, you know. So for me, it wasn't really a big thing until maybe my early teens.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So that means that from the time that you can recall, and I'm using the 2 years old because I know you mentioned that age. So from then up until, like you said, early teens. So that's over a span of 10 years, right? A little over 10 years. And I'm really trying to get away from using the word powerful, but I can't help it. I can't help it, right? Because it's impactful. Trying, y'all. I'm trying. Somebody bust out the synonyms for me because me tonight, okay? So but
don't ask me, I stopped taking my medicine.
But what I'm thinking about is the fact that you said that even before, so which, and I get to a lot of people that is common sense, but it's why we have to get around to talking, right? And just pouring out, because that's how we're able to dissect and unpack, what happened in order to be able to get to the root of it, so we can just figure it out and do better moving forward. So to the fact that, you said that it didn't really hit you until you knew, right, of like what it was, and then you were able to tell. So that means that in the over 10 years span, you normalized it because you didn't know any better, right? Like
that's
a lot of us, exactly, that's what we do. And that's what I was getting at. Like, so just if we think of it, because of course I'm not just thinking of you, right? I'm not just thinking of me. I'm not just thinking of, our family or even our, communities, neighborhoods, community, city, but just literally all around the world of where, their experiences of where we're growing up. And it's would you call it toxic, or is that
it's toxic?
Listen, I'm still the person that like to respect, because you haven't talked to somebody. You ever talk to somebody about their stuff, or you might be talking about your own and they kind of relate, cool, and you go to use a word and they're like, no, I ain't mean it was that. And you're like, okay, girl, my bad. I was just my bad, bro. I was just saying. So, but yeah, like, so when we're experiencing some toxic ways, even within our own household, it's like, I realized it though. So now that I know, which is bringing me to my next question, like once you kind of figured it out, like, what in the world? Like, this ain't, what was that? What was like revelation for you?
That was like when you go on defense mode. That's when a person on the street saying you just hit him in the mouth.
Okay, then.
Yeah, or a guy saying you just hit him in the mouth. Like,
gotcha.
So it's like
y'all see that right hook? Watch out for that right hook, man.
Yeah, that right hook serious, girl. It's like as soon as you get that in the streets, and it's like you don't want to deal with it at home, period. Mm-hmm. So as soon as you get that in the street, it's just hit him in the mouth, and you don't really understand what type of person it makes you. Because you could just have a homegirl like, cause bitch, and be like, wow, oh,
right. My bad. You are
cool, but that word,
right?
And it helps you develop a respect for yourself. But people, but if you when you see how many people normalize it,
okay,
like you got the male calling the female that, you got the music saying it, and it becomes haunting. Yeah, I know that's a powerful word.
That's good. That was, you see me.
Yeah, and you keep you tell yourself, well, I know this is what I'm not, and you go your life trying every way not to be called that. But when it's so normalized in the world, you just kind of say, all right, I can't punch everybody.
Okay, right.
I can't punch my homegirls. So you say like okay, I'm gonna normalize it to a certain extent.
Okay. Wow. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's
okay. And so how was that, like, setting that boundary then? Like, if you know for sure, not if, but because you know for sure that either is or was your trigger word, then how do you set those boundaries around there to be like, all right, I'm gonna normalize a little bit. I can start using it.
It's your homegirls, and they say, there's no offense behind it. You can normalize it. But even when it come out the guy's mouth, it's like, don't introduce me as it. I'm not one of them. Don't say it to me. It's not happening. I don't care if we're in an argument, because that argument gonna lead to a fight. So it's like that bow, hit him in the mouth, come back. I will Rakishi you. Like,
I want y'all to know that she is not that, but she is so tiny. So for her to say Rakishi you is hilarious.
I used to have a booty, girl.
But I'm just saying, you're so tiny. Like, they are so tiny on this. Like, tiny people. Y'all should see her sister.
I'm big at the same time, though.
You're right, Liz. You got that. I ain't fighting. Hey, Chris. Like I ain't disputing it. Like I'm okay. If you big at the same time, Tiny.
I have 6-inch pumps. Don't let this 5'4" fool you.
Right there we are. You even there? I'm okay. I'm disputing that. I'm coming over with my measuring tape because at this point I highly doubt. Like there's no way there's a 3-inch difference between us. No, ma'am. Yo,
No, for real, I'm 5'4".
No, ma'am.
They told me in the psych ward, girl.
Okay, well. Forget it. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm losing. Oh, Lord. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, y'all. Y'all see, today is a day. Okay. I'm not trying to stay away from that because I don't know if that I don't know what validity they give. They told me to say, well, I'm sorry. What is it?
Or maybe it was the psychosis.
Could you imagine being in a job interview or something and you go to say something off the wall and they be like, man, where'd you hear that? Oh, they told me in the psych ward. What?
Oh, I would never slip up like that, girl. You know these different personalities I got. I could just switch it up at any time.
Yes, code switching.
Yeah.
Well, you got to know how to do it. That's a
you
skill.
just gotta know how to do it.
That's probably a skill technically that we learned growing up.
Yeah. Especially when you're like, what you say? Nothing.
No.
They call you, you like, bitch, I hit you in the mouth. You like, what you say? Nothing.
Hey, Mom. Love you.
I'm gonna wash the dishes.
I'm gonna throw that chicken out you asked me to throw out on your way home from work. My bad.
Don't mind the black eye. That was from the other time you saw me, right?
Then we come together, get to playing Barbie, like. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, we used to talk trash about them.
What? That's so here. Okay, off topic, but not. So I don't. This is probably why. Now that I'm thinking about it, this is probably why I'm like. First of all, I try to pride myself on like not giving people that reaction of like, "What? You ain't see that?" or "What? You didn't watch this or do that?" Right? But one of my things that I have that reaction with is like when girls get to talk about like, "Yeah, I didn't play with Barbie." I'm like. You don't have cousins? Like y'all didn't play Barbie and talk trash and like, you build up your house real nice and not knowing that you must have.
No, because you and Tiffany always stayed in the house and me and Tasha had to make tents outside of y'all house. Y'all never gave us the house.
If you let me finish my point is that not knowing that I probably should have been diagnosed with OCD when I was younger.
My God.
Whatever.
Even the tent houses had to be clean.
Now look at my house. Anyway, but that everything, had this fine little, this goes over here, the little bottle soda. But then you have your cousin that come through like the Tasmanian devil, tearing all your stuff up. So, me and my closest cousin, okay? God rest her soul, okay, my baby. The mansion, yes, because we try to take care of our stuff, but for somebody would bust. What you used to do? You used to steal people men?
Oh, my Barbies had tape on them, the arms taped on.
Like, I just want to say, the whole, first of all, I want to say,
he used to steal SGI Joe dolls.
That's what I was about to. So what I was really about to say, soldier out of everybody was Tasha, okay? Tasha, because Tasha would really, this is what happened, y'all, because I have to break this down. I really think it's relevant at some point. So, us playing Barbie, right? Okay, cool. Me and Tiffany, like I said, we had the house, whatever. Yes, we had to find the things, whatever. I don't know how it went. It was all my stuff. So I didn't have.
Tasha even got to come in the house sometime. I never got to come in the house.
Because, see, that's why I got mad, but no, because we always go through this. So then you would have Tasha. No. You have Jazzy that'd be like, oh, y'all in the house. So I'm taking this and taking that, and I'm going to build this and make this. So Tasha be like, well, all this is left. So, all right, I'm cool. I'm going to camp out here. I'm going to make the best of this. You know what I mean? Here you got running through everything, stealing stuff from me. Like,
remember, I took the Barbie car and crashed into the house.
Every time, and she knew. Let me tell y'all, okay, toxic trait. because she knew I had set everything up. I had set everything up perfectly, had little, cups or plates or whatever. And she would run the Barbie car into the house. Like, what is this? I had to get that out. I feel so much better getting that off my chest because I had to get that out because it bothered me. Like, bro, I didn't even know I was dealing with OCD. I didn't know, but I knew I needed the stuff.
Well, it was better than dealing with ADHD.
What we're not doing is playing Pokemon. We're not playing mental illness cards and trying to see who all does he. Amy said you look pretty, Jay-Z.
Thank you.
Ooh, okay, thanks, Mike. So we have another comment where y'all see her as Jacinda, but we know her as Lucy. But so if I say Lucy, it's the same person. Don't ask where it came from, mind your business. But she said we normalize it, then that's where the generational curses come in. Come on, boom! Y'all know I love to talk about that because isn't that the whole point? So when we address, and I don't know, I wonder, posing a question to the audience, right? What is y'all's playing Barbie, right, in your family? So see how I said, like, I feel better. I got that out. And mind you, we've joked about it and talked about it a lot, but for whatever reason, like just now, like I'm talking about it and put into perspective of, just different experiences that we've had, like growing up. What is your, the thing that was like in your household, or maybe for your cousin cluster, or for your group
I'll get another text. I'm sorry.
For your siblings, or whomever else that you were closest with growing up, like for y'all, what was your thing? Like what comes to mind when you heard us kind of walking through, the playing Barbie and who got what and who felt shorted and things like that. While it's, all fun and it is, because we think about it like, we got past it. Of course, we were just playing Barbie, but came out of, I didn't be able to self-diagnose that I know for sure I had to have had OCD. I'm gonna give you another example of why I'm sure I had OCD when I was younger. But when how Lucy talks about like that we normalize it, and that's how the generational curses either formulate, because most of them were established and formed long time ago, right? Because they're generational, so they're passed on not by from person to person, from cousin cluster to cousin cluster, but generations. So that's a long time brewing, and so that's how we're able to catch hold of it and pass it on. Whereas now we all know, y'all know what I keep talking about. We are in the days and the age of where it's called for us, baby, to break these generational curses. That's just it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's no question about it right now. Like, not what. So
broke the bitch were a generational curse. I would never, ever call not even.
What?
Almost did once, but never. I never came out though. Never came out.
But you know what? And that's why it's important to talk about it, right? Because of the fact that even for you to acknowledge and say that you almost slipped once, right? First of all, acknowledging the fact that that you acknowledge. The acknowledgement word is just a big thing for me. So I'm acknowledging the fact that you recognize and acknowledge that there was something that you did not want to pass on. That even if you didn't call it a generational curse the very first time you probably thought of it, because it could have been when you were younger or whenever, to be like, even before you became a mother, that you could have told yourself like, I will never do this, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it was that was your moment saying, I'm not doing this. And that's just what it takes. I don't know what we think of. I think that, especially in our community as Black people, that we blow some things up that don't necessarily need to be blown up. So how, we'll think, I think in the past we thought of generational curses as something that we just can't touch, like a generational curse, there's no way we could break this. And then it's because we don't even have a clear idea of what they are. So it could be, something as simple as saying, I will not call my child out of their name. Like, I'm not doing that because I did not like their growing up. That's a powerful, I know y'all, that's my word though. I'm gonna start doing like pow when I say powerful, but like that's a powerful thing, to say. And then it's a commitment that you're making, committing to the fact that you're not finna do that. And then, like I said, even acknowledging when it comes around the time, because of course, once you vow to do something, of course there comes temptation or something, there's a test, right? So you're tested, to be like, I almost said that now, because okay, my nerves, you on them, so go ahead, right? But then that's the true testament to, what the mission is. That's how you really break the generational curse. So it starts with acknowledging that there is something wrong. There's something that we have normalized that is not normal. Then it's the matter of, making that vow and commitment, if it's to yourself or out loud to someone else, whomever, but saying that I will not do this. I'm gonna try my damnedest to make sure I don't continue this on. Then, right? So I guess step 3 is when you're tested with that, and then you're able to go back in your mind like, oh, nope. And I guess that's where the power, or say the significance of any trauma that we've all experienced, where that comes into play, simply because that's what helps us. Like, the way I see it is that God knew I need to go through some stuff so I could really, really, really appreciate and not want to, repeat something or do something, because I needed to see, I guess, worst case scenario, and to feel worst case scenario to make sure that I don't pass this on. Like, that's how I see that, Joe. Like, it's so good in those 3 steps that, as we, it's kind of like step 1 through 3, rinse and repeat. Like, maybe not rinse, but just repeat. Like, you know what I mean? Of different things that we identify as those, I don't know, those things, those triggers, or the actual curses, within our families and generations, and households, or whatever the case may be, and trying to break them. Like that, it's not like we out with the axe, just and doing. I'm not speaking against whatever else people out here doing the little dances in the backyard or whatever out in the woods, but it's not all of that, really. I'm trying to make sure I'm using my words. I don't need no, witches and them come to kind of cancel my show now. But I think that in our minds for so long, we thought of that, or I'll say that when I've read certain books, like for school or whatever, I would be like, oh, this must be that's what they mean by breaking the generational curse. And no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was doing these 3 steps right here, and then just repeating that. So, what do you think?
I agree.
Speaking to how I knew, because it's still in my mind, of to tell y'all how I really feel like they should have known. Look at that popping up. Hi, Daddy. Good evening.
Hey, go Ben.
Like how I knew that they should have known that I had OCD when I was younger. So I used to. So okay, I had my dinner plate, right? And so you got your protein, you got your meats. Your veggies, boom, your starches. I want y'all to be very clear that this is what y'all need now. So that's what balance meal at the least. Like that's, I don't want to see no more that y'all just got meats and macaroni and cheese and corn. Corn is a starch here. Okay, that's real. You know what? That should be tip of the week. Corn is a starch. Okay, I don't want y'all to think that that's a vegetable on your plate. Now get you a green veggie on. Moving on. But so I would have, you have your different things on your plate, right? So whatever I was eating, like I literally rotated my plate and I would eat that, right? Not meaning that I would eat all of it, like, I would eat all of my macaroni and cheese and then move it. No. If I want to take a bite of macaroni and cheese, I bite it, turn my plate, take a piece of meat, turn my plate. I eat my veggies. And it's tickling me now. But when I say that was my normal thing for so long, I think until one day my mother just snapped, stop doing that. Like, just, like, I don't know, just dumb, weird something. I'm just like, what? Y'all don't do this? Like, I think I was so into it that was my normal thing that I couldn't even realize that nobody else did that. Because I thought that's just what you're supposed to do. I don't know. And now I can't even remember the days that I actually did that. It's crazy. Long story short, they should have known that I had OCD a long time ago, that it went untreated. Now, I thank God that he just didn't let me fall to the wayside, but that's neither here nor there. That OCD could have took me over, is all I'm saying, because it was bad at some point. I have another example, but I'm not going to keep going about myself. But, okay, I am. But listen, I was looking at my closet yesterday, right? And I was like, at some point, my closet in my first apartment, I had everything color coordinated. Like, all my shirts that I had hung up, it was all my blue shirts, all my red shirts, all my purple shirts, whatever. And then they had their, like, it was like an order. Like, okay, if it was a particular t-shirt, then it'd be hung up. I'm telling y'all right now, if y'all judging me, I don't even care. I'll put myself out there. So then it was an order though. So if it was a t-shirt and a button-down shirt and a sweater or something like that, whatever, it might be hung up. Like it had to be in that order. Like it was like the craziest thing. I almost thought, even though he was very toxic and the number one narcissist that I dated, my ex at the time, my boyfriend at the time, my ex now, of course. But I thought about it like I probably would really never give him any credit if I didn't really have to. But I was like, I wonder if he thought to himself, like, this girl, there's something going on up in there. Like, why does her closet look like this? Again, OCD that was unaddressed, that should have been addressed when I was much younger. Neither here nor there. But so if all of that being said, because I always have to make a point out of it. I wasn't just sharing my stuff for no reason. How do we get to the place of letting, and if it's our parents or any family, right? Like, our closest people to us, our family, mostly. I know for some people say they're friends or whatever. But usually, for the most part, it's family, somebody. How do you get to the place of releasing that person and I don't want to say letting go of that hurt, because I think that's a different type of conversation, but letting go of the fact that, you experience such said trauma by way of them. Like, how do you get to that place of letting go of that? Like, because Jazzy, you said like, that she's, your mom is working on it now. So if you in a good place to be able, you wouldn't be able to make a statement like that or even to acknowledge that. So how do you get to that place?
You just gotta learn to let go. And then you find people that love you and that, show you different.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you even see like other families and you like, well, I want to be like that family.
Okay.
Like Cosby. Like,
and then it come crashing down when they take my man Cosby out, man.
They ain't have to do that.
It sucks.
But you get to a place where like you don't want to hold on to so much pain. Like when you're holding on to so much pain, like where's there to go in life? But you can't use that pain as fire or adrenaline or whatever, a push. Because honestly, in my case, I use that same pain and I said, well, I'm going to be better than anything you said I could be. I'm going to be the one, everything you told me I couldn't be. I'm going to be the one that you got to look up to. So for me, you can use it as a drive. Yeah. And then, but even in using it, the drive, you can't let go of it. So then you got to get to that place where you like, okay, now it's getting rough. Because, life comes, then you still holding on to pain. Then you dealing with that pain, then childhood pain. It's a lot. So you got to just get to the point where you're like, okay, I just want to be it. So that's the best way. Just let go.
Okay. And okay. And so, because I'm putting it into perspective of what you're saying is like anything, putting into perspective as far as anything that we've talked about on the shows,
and move out at an early age.
Now, move out where you can, baby. Okay, move out before you become homeless. Anyway,
I was 19.
Listen, okay, because I was only put out, but whatever. I was put out at 14. Listen, people don't know. Okay, I was on couches. I think starting at 16 or something like that, and 18 was just like done. I was like, oh, so the week after, I think it was either day or week after high school graduation. Like, okay, hello, okay then. Like we weren't even arguing. Was it okay? All right, I'm gone. I guess. I don't know. But shake that off. Come back to that.
You gotta Harlem shake that shit off.
I told you about my problem. I don't want to get to shaking these things now. My underwear can't fly now. I can't Harlem shake for you.
At least you got some.
Now, this is not the problem you want, baby. You don't want this problem. Yeah. My father been telling me to get them off the table for as long as they. I could never like them. Like they literally pop. So about traumatic. Told you I woke up the first day of 5th grade with size B cups. Like what? went to sleep flat chested. I'm telling you, like that's what happened. It was like, how do you?
Well, my teacher snatched my socks out when we was fighting in the 5th grade. So I woke up a flat chested child with these socks stuffed into a C cup. Like trauma at its best.
That is hilarious.
It's really true.
Good girl. So put it to perspective of like what we've talked about in the past, where you were saying like just let it go. It's like that. If y'all remember a couple weeks, maybe a month ago now, where I talked about the benefit and the power in, the power that's restored within you of that as soon as you make that decision to let something go, and to braid it together with another I guess episode or just something I mentioned before, that was everything that we need to do. The antidote to a lot of issues that we have and challenges that we face may not be easy, but it has simple solutions. So the simple solution that Jazzy is talking about is let it go. Like it sounds crazy, but you get to a place where you're able to receive that advice when you start the healing process. At some point in the healing process, you'll be able to be like, ooh, I can receive that now. I almost want to say I guarantee you that, because I know for me, I'll hear just in different conversations and I'll hear things and I'm like, ooh, I can receive that now, because I'm acknowledging that prior to now, whenever that was, if it was a week ago, a year ago, a couple months ago, whatever, that I was not in that place to receive whatever I might, be hearing in that moment. And it doesn't necessarily mean that somebody is, has called me to say, oh, God said this to tell you this. It doesn't mean that. It really just means that I choose to take, from some things that when people are talking, I choose, things out of their experience to digest for myself. This is why I say that it's so important not to easily dismiss people, right? No matter who they are to you. Honestly, even for the most part, no matter what your experience with them has been, it's still important to remember that, one, God will use anybody. Okay. He can use anybody to get to you, to speak to you, but that you can really learn something from just about anybody. I know that growing up, a lot of people, we might be walking home from school or whatever, and you might see that drunk on the street. And as young kids, not having experienced as much life yet, some of us did, but as much life then. But, we didn't know better. The maturity level was missing. So we didn't know better to be like, you know what, that drunk, we probably could learn some stuff from him. We thinking like, don't talk to me, old drunk man, like, da, 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 da. But
no, I was the one that all the fiends was my friends, girl. All the drunks, all of them. They know me to this day. They be like, what's up, Jazz? I'm like, what's up? How you doing? I ain't seen you in a minute. Thought Jazz OD. It's like, damn.
Okay. Because
you. Yeah, I keep it funky with what?
Okay.
They be some of the smartest ones though.
Yeah,
a
man.
lady told me the other day, I wasn't looking like myself. And she said, baby, hold your head up. She said, it's cold out here, but sometimes it's colder in the house.
Ooh.
And I looked at her and I said, you know what, you're right.
Sheesh.
Because I understood it. She was like, I'm skipping pages. She was like, I'm skipping pages, but you know what I mean. And I did know what she meant.
You're right.
And they always, like, one lady told me, she used to steal. Her name was Skinny. And she told me, she said, an unmade bed is an unmade day. When you first get up out your bed, you make your bed. She said, then that gives you time to think about your day, to plan, to move around a little bit. And like, these was fiends. Okay. These was junkies. Like, get high, shoot up, all that. Like, I had, like, I was in, my little stage where I had them around me, and honestly, a lot of them came from good households. Mm-hmm, it was just life that drove them there. Like, nobody wakes up when they're a child and say, right, oh, one day I don't want to be a fireman. I want to be a crackhead. Right. That's not what you wake up and say.
That's true.
It's life that goes into that, but that don't mean that they ain't a person at the end of the day, and that they don't have just as much knowledge as our parents might have had, or more.
That's a very good point. Very, very good point. That it, unfortunately, it took for some of us, it took for us to have our own experiences to realize that, you know what I mean? Like, not to be able to see that then. And I know first of all, we shouldn't have been able to, relate back when maybe we walk home from school, maybe middle school, high school, whatever. But some of us were able to relate to that, but we just weren't at the place because it's still, even though it was a lack of maturity level or lack of maturity, but there was also, it's still the environment in which, just as far as our society that we operate in and are functioning within, that does not, encourage or empower us to, take heed to what's helpful to us. Instead, it's we know a society that's built on us being overworked, unhappy. Like Americans are some of the most unhappy, literally. I don't forget where we fall on that list, but we're some of the most unhappy people in the world.
We fall at number one.
And that's what really surprised me. Now, this is a little while ago when I checked it, but that list, I can't even remember. I don't even want to give a number, but it surprised me that we weren't number one, because I would definitely think so. Like, I didn't care having an idea of kind of some things that are going on around the world. I still felt like we should rank at number one because
when I went to Jamaica, like when I really got to meet my family and, enjoy their company, they were some of the most loving people. And they said, don't go to Kingston. Don't go to Kingston. Girl, I was sitting in the middle of Kingston, drunk as hell, and had a ball. Same with Trinidad. When I went to Trinidad, I went in the slums, like in the slums where it wasn't no houses. I'm talking about like 10 houses. Like, mind you, I was already staying in Shabanas. Wasn't that much. But it wasn't that far from it. But I met some good people. And I can honestly say their slums, like if you can live in that and still find happiness, you can't live in America and find happiness. There's something wrong.
And that's exactly what I mean by the environment and I'm not even gonna say it's society. I think that's a better word. Environment in which we create that clearly that from their, their slums, that they're able to still create a good space. And sure, things happen. So that's why it's an environment that's created. But, that we could still hear of, unfortunately, we know that it could be the happiest neighborhood in the city, but somehow somebody just got shot, up at the top of the block. Like it just, but it's still an environment that's created. And then we hope that's why I'm glad that it's now caught caught fire rather, of like it's spreading, of how people talk about and are more aware of our energy that we, put off, our auras, you know what I mean, of just our surroundings, because a lot of us are walking around blindly. We're walking around lost and just unloved, right? So from what we've experienced, but even unloved as far as ourselves. And so when I think of loving, before I even ask that, and in your opinion, what does loving yourself, knowing the experiences that you have, experiences that you even most recently have dealt with, or even past experiences, what does loving yourself and trying to really take advantage of a healing process and a healing journey, what does that mean for you, of loving yourself? Like, what certain things?
That's powerful. Loving yourself to me is just always being true to who you are, regardless of how much help you need, what situation you in. Like me, I never was a person to reach out to people. Like, I don't reach out, so loving yourself to me is not having to reach out, but being able to reach out.
Ooh.
Like, when you can define in yourself, like, okay, here it's a problem. This is the problem. I need to reach out to somebody. Like when I was experiencing my situation and I reached out to you because my family just didn't understand what was going on. Not my family, my mother.
I got you.
Didn't understand what was going on. Like loving yourself is just having that talk with yourself. Having that talk with yourself to say, okay, this is what's wrong. This is what's going on. You're not crazy with this. This is not what it is. But okay. Loving yourself is cleanliness. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Yeah.
There's a lot of God up in this house, but I ain't talk about how clean it is.
But it's like self-care, though.
I got you. I don't want to talk about that even in mine.
And just being able to pour yourself out, because we all get down in those dumps. We all get to that point in life where we feel like, all right, I'm just down right now and I can't pull myself out. When you get to that point, finding a way out. That's loving yourself. Like, you got to love yourself to say enough to say, okay, I got my makeup on, but what's wrong? Like, you know, I got my mask on, but what's wrong behind this mask?
That's good.
You know, like, it's just as simple as that. Like, being honest with yourself, really being honest with yourself. That's the most self-love I can appreciate about myself, that I wasn't always honest with myself. Hold on, I wasn't. But
that's all right.
You know, yeah, getting to that point where you like, all right, fuck it. This was wrong. Like, I'm sorry, I had to carry you, but this is what's wrong. Like,
that's all right.
And then, like, you know, reaching out to somebody like, look, this is what's going on. This is what ain't going on. Look, help me out. You know.
That's real good. That's really, really good. And I'm definitely glad you said the piece of, first of all, from self-talks. I've never discouraged that. Like, I don't care what nobody say. And remember that when we were younger, and I really can't even put an age on it now, but I just remember when we were younger, it was just the regular thing to talk about. Like, oh my God, especially if we caught, you know, one of our classmates, somebody, you know, the neighborhood or somebody talking to themselves, like, it was a big thing to make fun of. Now it's like, no, baby, I get it. Like,
yeah, look, you can talk to yourself. Just don't answer yourself. That's when it's something wrong.
Now here's the thing. Yourself. Let me give you all a little trick. When people say that, listen, what you do is you answer yourself on the inside.
Yeah, on the inside. But when you like,
you're welcome.
Yeah, girl, you went to the store. Remember you made that right? Buy the chips. Like, you know, you can't answer yourself.
Now hold on. I'm gonna go and leave that right there, but I'm gonna go ahead and still put myself out there. I have got to hear me it's the market for me. Like, it is like, it's good. It's just so normal though. So I know I don't only do it in the market, but baby, when somebody catch with, and either they be like, huh? Or some people like, oh no, I'm sorry. Or now I've just gotten used to like, oh, don't worry about me. I'm just over here just figuring it out. Like, just like, yes, I did. Do I need margarine? Let me get whatever. Okay. But so with you, I love that you mentioned the piece about, like I said, of self-talks, but then toward the end you mentioned of like reaching out to people. That is, it's both. I think we have to get away from feeling like we have to choose one or the other. I've always found myself being like the both kind of person. So even perfect timing that Jacinda commented that where is it? Okay, that most people now can't, because even before our generation, it wasn't normal to get help or therapy to bring the issues out.
But what is normal? This is the thing. That's where we all gotta like wake up and how many of us is just like nobody? What is normal?
Right.
I mean, to me, normal is a person that's not crazy enough to kill somebody or do something weird to like a child. Like,
okay,
like,
I can respect it. I can roll with it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you are your authentic self, then you're normal. So like and that even got to play a part in mental health. What is normal? There is no normal.
That's good.
People are just who they are.
That's it. And if with that piece could catch wind, if that piece, and I think so, then it's because of that, because you know how I'm trying to think back on when you mentioned, I think it was when
that was something in my teeth. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Listen, you are allowed to be yourself here. I ain't gonna lie, I'll make sure, because you know how you were talking about like hygiene, you were talking about yourself. So given I'm about to go hop in the shower after this and all. But I was like, you know what? I don't want my own pictures start itching, so I'm gonna go. Because if it started itching, I promise you I would have scratched it. I don't care.
My hair was itching my back, and I started scratching it, girl.
Like, I'm just gonna be me here. I don't know how else to be, y'all.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's the point. That is so the beauty in it. That I think it's when you made the point of I can't remember now, but I remember what I'm trying to get at, which is that you mentioned about like people like of letting go. That's what it is. You were making a point of like letting go, and you were saying like you just know yourself, and we were talking about like self-love and all that, right? And so in order to do that, though, that is the work that you have to put in, is to find self. And so how to do that is allowing yourself to be who you are. And when something doesn't feel like it, just feel like it doesn't fit, because sometimes you can't put words to it, but the words that you try to put to it is when you reach out to somebody else. So y'all know I'm going to always advocate and push for therapy and counseling, because not only, should you talk to someone that you trust with your life, right? I think that's where the betrayal and the judgment calls come into place, where we feel we've betrayed ourselves. I've said that before, where if we feel like a friend or somebody has betrayed us, it's really the idea that we betrayed ourselves because we put the trust in that person.
Yeah.
More from them than they were probably capable of. And so when we let go of that, so there's where that comes into play, of choosing to be like, just let go of that. Like, okay, I made a mistake, my bad. But when you get to that place and either it's a relative, family member, someone you're dating, whomever, I don't know, someone in your church, just anyone, right? That you absolutely know that you can trust with your life, then you're able to really pour your stuff out on. But that's not the only person you should be pouring your stuff out to. I will always, like I said, push for therapy, because as you're talking things through with someone that is, educated and trained and schooled in the way of being able to help you work that stuff out, because it's not for you to go to tell that person. That person isn't really the thing that matters. It still matters to go to someone that's a professional, because they know how to at least allow you to have that space, but then to keep it structured, because, if it's a 45-minute session, that's what it's going to be. Even if you are pouring your life out, right? It's still important that you learn, right? So one prime example of how therapy speaks over anything else, of anytime you're speaking to someone else about your stuff, is that if it's a scheduled meeting, that teaches you to be able to get your stuff out, and it's still in a scheduled and structured amount of time, to where you feel like you fulfilled your space of needing to vent and needing to get out, and you've talked some stuff through. They know usually how to, the type of questions to ask, or if it is just cry this whole 45 minutes, okay. But then they know it's a regimen. Like, it's the fact that they know that it's a schedule. It's kind of like a mental health curriculum in a certain way, right? And so it's so important to do that in order to be able to get to that place of where you're able to figure out who you are. Because if you have a good therapist, they'll tell you, like, just like I know my therapist, one of my favorite ones, I used to always say, like, thank you so much. You got me here. She'd be like, girl, you did it. Like, you did that. And so when they're encouraging you and reinforcing the fact that you have done this work because it takes work, then that's a therapist, right? Because you get to shop around until you get to the person where you are most comfortable with, doing the work, that's going to help you with that. But it is still work to do. And so it's important. I know, like I said, with Jacinda saying that we have to, it might not have been normal beforehand. So it wasn't normalized to seek therapy to bring these issues out. Sometimes it's making certain decisions to do just that, to get it on, like, listen, let me just go to therapy. People keep talking about it. Let me just try it. That's all I say.
In my experience, I mean,
it's okay. Go ahead.
In my experience, I had some crazy therapists.
Okay, now I believe that. I truly believe it.
Yeah, I had a therapist. Our first session, went into her computer and showed me these children in college getting killed by killbots, something like that. And I was like, why the fuck would you show a mental health patient something like these drones? Okay. like they had some drones coming to school, and like they was like targeting some children or something like that. And I just looked at her like, you're the one with the mental health issue. Like, why would you show somebody that? And I was like, and she was like, I think the government did it. And looking at her like, what?
Okay, see, and look at me always saying the good in people, because where I was taking it is that I was thinking it was like for her a test to see maybe to see if maybe whatever y'all might have talked about, whatever she might have thought could have possibly been a trigger for you. So maybe she wanted to see what your reaction to it would be. So my
reaction was I wanted another therapist. Then I had another therapist laugh at me. I had another therapist laugh, and we were like in the middle of talking about something. She laughed, and I'm just like, okay. I'm switching. Like, and if we was talking about something serious,
I bet. Wow. I'm so sorry. I always take the time because it definitely baffles my mind. I've had, not so good experiences with, therapists. I really always take the time out not being a therapist myself, but the fact that I guess that I always advocate on behalf of it and encourage people to seek therapy, that I always take the time out to be like, so to you, I so apologize for the experiences that you've had, but it's
girl, don't apologize for them. They need therapists.
They do, because I have, and look at my ignorance. See, I used to be the person joking about talking about like psychiatrists and psychologists, like they're the ones. I guess more so like psychiatrists. See, not even knowing back then, definitely not knowing the difference then, but feeling like oh, they must be taking the medicine or this. And like I've said some stupid things in the past, not knowing, and then I guess God was like, watch, okay, go and keep making them jokes. I got you, right? So, but just I just feel really bad. Like I can't put it the other way. I feel really bad to hear when people are like, but I always say try to find one. It helps you to. I think everything is character building. So even when you're sitting through different, sessions, because some people say that they hate their therapist and it's because they're making them do the work, that's necessary for their healing. Right. So I try to encourage people not necessarily to jump. Now, when for sure that it's not a good fit, then okay. Right. But it is definitely the point is to keep pushing and keep going to seek therapy, even if it's from, other therapists, or with other therapists. But it's unfortunate when I hear of like not so good experiences, because it's like, that's the last thing we need to do is to discourage people from seeking therapy. Like that's just not that, especially not now. But I mean, we know that the enemy, he gonna do it all. He gonna work every way, which way he can, and try to get in there, to be like, oh shoot, people picking up on the fact that they need therapy these days. So let me get into them too. He probably used to leave the therapist alone, especially because Black people weren't seeking therapy. And now that we are, it's like, let me weasel my way on up in here too. Let me make the receptionist be mean and nasty one day, so that way, even though you on the verge of breaking today, you gonna cuss out and decide not to go to therapy. All right, cool, I won that day. You know what I mean? So I think it's just a matter of that. When you were talking earlier about that drive to keep pressing forward because of the experiences that we've had, not to allow them. One, I guess, to acknowledge that they can make us stop and they can halt us in our own healing processes and like our healing journeys, but not to allow that to happen, to use our own experiences to, to help drive us to toward the healing that we so desperately need. And that we want. Once we get to the place that you want healing, like, man, this gotta get better. This gotta be better, right? Knowing that you have to do those, but break the generational curses and things of that nature and embark on that work, man. It takes it. Side note, talk about mental illness. Side note, while we was talking about corn, I just saw this comment from my dad. They say you can see corn in your poop. See what I mean? People just it's ghetto.
But speaking of mental illness, like I was recently dealing with somebody with a mental illness, and I did not know until that person got locked up that they had a mental illness.
Wow. Okay.
And it was scary because I didn't know like exactly what schizophrenia was or whatever.
Okay.
And then like when he got locked up,
okay. I was want to say, no, you ain't telling me that.
Yes, so that's not. But when he got locked up and like I was trying to like help him, and his lawyer told me what he was locked up for, I was like, oh my God. Like this is the type of person I was dealing with.
Wow.
And that scared me even more. I was like, it like when I say it scared me so bad, like this, like you'd be surprised, like when a person not taking their medicine and all of that, like what type of person. Like with me, like it was certain things he said that scared me and stuff like that, and I was asking him like, like why do you hate me and all that, and I guess. It was like his mental illness. I don't know.
Right. You never know, right? In situations like that, I bet that you just like, so that was, I guess, you remember Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde? Is that right? Yeah.
But I didn't realize how toxic the relationship was.
Mm.
I didn't realize, like, how bad the relationship was. And I didn't realize that it was so toxic because all that time I never knew he had a mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did realize that he had a mental illness, and he finally told me. He finally told me. I was on a phone call with him, and he told me he had schizophrenia. And everything made sense.
Mm.
Everything made sense then. So, mind you, I just had my own mental issues or whatever, my own little episode. But like when he started telling me, I asked the doctor while I was in the hospital.
Okay, right. There you go. While we here, let me ask about my mama, my auntie now.
But I did though. I did.
No, really.
You
should. I'm glad.
So I asked him, like, what is schizophrenia? And like, that's a person that hears voices. And I'm like, what? And then he was like, like I could have looked it up online, but I said, I didn't know.
Right.
What, and I really, but I did text him and I said, well, now I understand what schizophrenia is. It's going to be, I got away from him. Okay. But I did text him, like, like, it's going to be okay. Like, I understand. Like, you didn't mean the things you said to me. You just wasn't taking your medicine. Mm. And then I should have known because he kept going to jail. And I was just like, but I was afraid of this person. I was afraid. Like, wow. Mm-hmm. So not only was the relationship toxic because I was afraid, but I'm free from the relationship.
Period.
Yeah, on period.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So not only was it toxic because I was afraid of that person, it was toxic because, like, he wasn't even doing self-care. Mm-hmm. He wasn't taking the necessary steps that he needed to get out of his situation, taking his medicine, really going to his therapist, I guess, or his psychiatrist. Okay. But this, like, but that can put, that can put a lot of mental stress on you as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I thought that this person was going to kill me because I didn't want to be with him. Like, I was running around like, oh my God, there's people around trying to chase me and kill me because this man, no, I don't want to be with him. And that wasn't the case. He was just trying to scare me the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's deep because I always think of it as, and I know, I don't know, just for some people and just some conversations that I've had that I don't think, and not even conversations really, I mean, that too, but really of just what you observe of maybe of like, even like how people now, like our generation, how we're raising our children and all that, to me, all of that is connected. So I feel like whatever we've experienced in the past, if you do not do the necessary, work that it entails to reach a place of healing, that it's a continuous journey, that it can come back to you. And I know that was my experience. Like, I literally said, like, from the toxicity that I, experienced from my own, like, family of growing up, that I saw it in relationships and like how that correlates. And, and so it wasn't until after I experienced that, like, so both of those two pillars of experiences, right, of toxicity and narcissism and all of that, that then I learned to be like, man, let me figure this out because I don't know, I don't like this, right? So that's why to me it's so important of like even how we choose to, again, how earlier you mentioned that even what you dealt with like growing up, that you made the decision to be like, yeah, I'm not going to do this, like to when I become a mother, right? And then it's just about like, I think it's what we do, what we're into. I
really, it's so much harder with relationships to break that curse. Okay. Like I went in from relationship to crazy person to crazy person to I don't know if like what I was attracted, or maybe it was the areas I was hanging in. I don't know. But
and sometimes it's a lot of different factors though. So okay.
Yeah, like I don't know. Or maybe because my mother was crazy, I just always understood. I don't know if I understood crazy what.
I'm telling you, yeah, because we put that on. It's like we wore that because you don't know. So that's the difference of when the toxic, I guess, yeah, the toxicity comes from, your parents, either, both or one or the other or whatever, that you wear that because you're the, you're on receiving end, you're the child, right? So it's, stay in the child's place and this and that and that. And yet, we stay there until we realize that I need to take this cloak off. Like, I have to take this coat off because this cloak that has been put on me is magnetic. And so I'm attracting what I received already. And that's all I know to keep receiving until I realize, like, wait a minute, I don't like this no more. I definitely don't like it now.
What was the point when you was like, okay, it's time to just cut everybody off?
Bruh. And this, I'm gonna use the last couple minutes before we get out of here. But I would really have to think of the when. But I know, like I said, it had been after just dealing with, truthfully, just with a lot of turmoil between my mother and I. Then I learned after a while it was like turmoil between my father and I. And then it was like certain scenarios, and I can definitely go into like my story. I know now because of the time I'll have to go into this on another episode, but of like different experiences that I even had with like my siblings. And like I said, it was all around the time as I dated who was my child's father, but I dated him for quite some years. And it was back in our like teenage years, up into our early adult years. And that was horrific, like horrific. You know what I mean? Like horrible. And
mine was when somebody drugged me.
and see that's
yeah.
So that, and I have heard that before, right? I've heard somebody else say that. And it's just once I realized that, this came from, there and here, like they don't, that doesn't relate. And still, like, I still feel it's low, in both scenarios, like, no, something ain't right. And really, when it really came all together, and in the last couple minutes, like I said, last 2 minutes that we had, it was the first time that I went to counseling as an adult. And when she said to me, like, I ran down, she started asking stuff. I was there because of issues that I had with him, right? When I finally left him. But then we started getting into like family stuff. And I'm like, girl, what is this talking about? Like, that's why I encourage people, like, stick to it. Sometimes they'll ask you stuff that you don't think, goes with it, right? But then when she asked that, and when she literally, she said, that's not normal. Just to hear those words, I was like, what? It's not normal, girl. Your mama ain't, you lying. For real? Like, just me. Mm-hmm. It was like that. That's when it hit for me. And so my mother just said, "They so funny." She said, "We call us messing with you. Don't be mad at us." I'm not mad at you, mommy and daddy. I'm not. I promise. Y'all are okay. We're making you little jokes. I promise. It's okay. I'm not mad. You have to explain yourself sometimes. But we have 1 minute before we get out of here. Jay, any last statements or comments or feelings just from our conversation tonight?
I would just tell everybody, because this is like from past experiences, be careful who you date. Be careful who you date, because all my recent stuff stem from dating the wrong person.
That's good. Oh, see, with that being said, that just means, right, if I hope I'm not by myself, but what if I am or not, we're going to have to bring her back. We're going to have to continue this conversation on another day, okay? Because I you. So as always, I always have to tell my guests, I acknowledge you. I love you, from a deeper place than any place, because I literally know you all my life, but I acknowledge your experience. I appreciate the fact that you took the time and did the work to heal. I love you. And everybody else, y'all already know what's up. Continue to embrace the mix that you are. Be the mix that you are. And until next time, love you. Peace.